I'm Chris Moore, interim pastor at Montevilla United Methodist Church in Portland, Oregon. Today's lectionary passage is from John chapter 3, verses 7 through 14. This is an interaction that occurs between Jesus and Nicodemus. Jesus says, "Do not marvel that I said to you, you must be born again. The wind blows where it wishes, and you hear its sound, but you do not know where it comes from or where it goes. So it is with everyone who is born of the Spirit." Nicodemus said to him, "How can these things be?" Jesus answered him, "Are you the teacher of Israel, and yet you do not understand these things? Truly, truly, I say to you, we speak of what we know and bear witness to what we have seen. But you do not receive our testimony. If I have told you earthly things and you do not believe, how can you believe if I tell you heavenly things? No one has ascended into heaven except he who descended from heaven, the Son of Man." Too often, we think we can pinpoint what's happening around us as if everything is contained in a certain place, associated with a certain people, linked with certain behaviors. It's as if we are thinking, if I do this and this, and if I'm still not visibly knocked out, then I have outsmarted or outlasted this. I suspect that is how some people picture God, playing some kind of cat and mouse game with us, calling out, "Not it." And then we find God in that ethereal divine glory and somehow tag the ground of all being. Nicodemus probably knew as much about God or religion as anyone. And Nicodemus wanted clear, definitive answers. Jesus spoke to him, addressing him as teacher of Israel. In other words, rabbi, a learned man steeped in the scripture and tradition and faith of his people. When Jesus told Nicodemus, "You must be born again," he followed that by saying, "The wind blows where it wishes. You hear its sound, but you do not know where it comes from or where it goes." That is a frustrating illustration because, of course, wind itself is not material. It cannot be seen or held or memorialized. But I believe that's the point. That wind, as Jesus might have called her in his language, is the same word, and this is true in Hebrew, in Greek, and in Latin. That wind is the same word as spirit, which is in turn the same word as breath. The breath of our lives. The experience of life cannot be seen or held. Nor can the Spirit of God be seen or held. Just when Nicodemus asked that $64,000 question, we hear the answer. Our attempts to control what is blowing about us cannot succeed. Isaiah reminds us the grass withers, the flower fades. And Jesus tells Nicodemus, you cannot contain the Spirit of God. Just because we think we can determine what will happen or hope that something will happen does not mean that it will. We have to give up being right. Even if we want desperately something to happen, we can befriend the experience of trust. Living in the Spirit Truly living in the Spirit relieves us of our need to outmaneuver God. And living in the Spirit invites us to listen for the wind, wherever it comes from. Be well, stay healthy, care for those who are vulnerable or sick or lonely. May God bless you. I'm Chris Moore with Montevilla United Methodist Church in Portland.